This is a quick guide for starting up on the DBM6000. The DBM6000 controller can contain up to 400 doors and several thousand users, depending on the license. The PCB itself looks like this. Normally it would be mounted in a box where there's a power supply. The screw terminals are as following. You have the plus and minus input here for the power supply. You have a common alarm relay out. You have terminals here for the modem, SMS, GSM modem, and you got inputs for tamper, the lid tamper, and the emergency input. In the right corner we have the bus in and out, and we have a ground wire, not the negative pole, but the earth wire have to be connected to ground 1. The jumper here is the termination of the bus, so if this is the start of the basic string, these two red things have to be pushed up, so we have 180 ohms over the bus. The rest of the jumpers you can read, and also the LEDs you can read the meaning of in the help file, which you always can access in the application by pressing F1. I will demonstrate that later. But let's get on with it. I will start up the application. This is a connection to the ODBC. I have made a test database. This is normally not shown because I would do this when I start up and this will not be indicated. But since I have a lot of different installations I can access, or databases, I will have my choice here. That means that this guide is without how to install the SQL database and make the database. That will be done in another video. So once we are here, we have to access the rights, and that is by clicking here, login or Control I. The basic administrator is just called administrator. The password is admin. Right, the operator, you can see the list of operators here, and also if you go under properties you can see and alter the rights, what plans they have access to, etc. That's not what we are going to talk about here. If you want to change the general language, you can go under operator and change it. Normally it's followed by the operator name. If I have been setting mine to Danish and I log in, it will change to Danish. But now we need to make the DBM6000 controller appear on the installation window. And by the way, this is the installation window. You can also have the user list, real-time events and all that. But let's focus on the installation window, which you can find here. And if you keep the mouse over each icon, you can see where it is pointing to. If you have decided that the window appearance have to be like this, or in orderly fashion, you can have it different places on your desktop. You will then go under window and ask for save position of the windows. If somebody else have been accessing the application, you can always save the look. If you press this button, it will then restore the look as you have saved. Now this will indicate the name of the database and the ODBC source. If you wanted to synchronize the clock with the controller, you would have to set this small checkbox. If you want to log what the operator is doing in the application, you will have to check this one. And if you want to start it as a service, you would have to click this button. Well, now we have the server here, and now we have to connect or make an IP socket. And in this case I will not tell you how to find an IP address because it's individual for each installation. The PCB itself cannot get an IP address from your router. So my normal way of doing is just by pinging the address I would like to have. I know I'm at my 2 range, I'll click 290. see if that is available or not. I'm not getting a reply, so I hope and think nobody else have it. Otherwise you can go in to your router, access the table of DHCP and see what is already assigned to what devices. So let's check and add an IP connection. I will enter the address I know which is available. Okay, that's it. I will then add a mixed controller. The name is not relevant. And then we have the serial number. If we go back to our image, maybe you can see that the serial number is 8716. 8716. The IP address of the controller is of course the same as the socket. Then the MAC address 001DEB, and then the rest. The rest is what's also beneath the serial number 0102CC. 0102CC. Notice that these are always hexadecimal, so up to F, 0 to F, that's how far you can reach. The mask address on my network is 3 times 2550, which is the most common. If I were to access my controller on a different network, I would then add a default gateway for it to access the outside. If I have units, access units or I/O interfaces which are on a different network, I would also say that if we should reach, for instance, the tree network, I would go through my router, my gateway, which is called 2.1. You can also add a secondary gateway if you got it. This would then mean that I'm now able to access the tree network, whether it's tree 1, 357 or whatever it is, by clicking add. If you do that, you have to make sure that each access unit have a fixed IP address, because normally, I say normally, DHCP is not routed through a VPN gateway. Once that is done, I can then check the bus speed, which is set to these two. 38.4 is the one we have been using for years, which is very stable, and this one here is if you got more than 40 elements on the bus. In most cases it's not relevant at all. Right. Now the controller is normally called 0.199 when it's spawned, but if we wait about 1 minute normally, this new IP address should be set in the controller PCB. Let's wait and see. We also have the issue about the versions. This is version 2.43, the software. You can always investigate in what it is here by clicking the question mark. Version 2.43. And the controller needs to be burned afterwards to the right. Let's do that while we have it. I right click, click burn. Under the C drive, normally the DBM6000 folder, we have another folder called flash, and here we have to choose the ARM.pkg. It will then flash the PCB and reboot, and after a few moments it will again appear on my list, just without marks. Close. So now I'm actually able to add doors, access units, I/O interfaces. I can add on this controller, I can add both. I can add a RS485, I can add IP units. You just can't see that, but it's like this. This was a bus installation. You can see that by the flag with IP settings is gone. It means I'm using the 485 output. The door have normally a 5-digit serial interface or serial number. The door you add here, and then the reader 0 and 1, you can have 2 readers on the door, normally because you can use it as entry and exit reader, but you can also just keep it as a neutral door. All this information is on another video. Thank you for watching.